Welcome to the first episode of Off the Boards with your hosts Josh Gogan and Ryan Ward. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm pretty good, Josh. Are we ready to go into some predictions, trade rumors, and everything news in the NHL?
Yeah, let's go for it. We're going to start from bottom of the standings, top of the standings. Probably not going to get through every team today. We'll see how far we get. So that would mean we're starting off with the Ottawa Senators. I mean...
God, what a team.
You guys can look forward to draft picks, I guess, but...
Can they?
Well, they have two firsts this year, and they have the Sharks pick, which we can assume is probably going to be in the 20s.
Yeah.
Then they have Columbus's second, which will be a high pick. Dallas's pick will probably be late second. They have 5th and 6th rounds from Tampa Bay in the 5th, and the 6th they have San Jose and St. Louis.
Not too bad, but like that's still another year or two away from any of them maybe even being close to being in the pipeline.
You're right, unless it's Ottawa, so with their luck, they could be. I'm assuming that they're going to be bottom of the standings again this year.
Yeah,
and they're not going to win the lottery.
They'll get 4th pick.
That's a bold prediction.
It's not bold. It's going to happen.
You're right.
But like in the pipeline right now, who do they have? They have Eric Branstrom and Drake Matheson.
Well, here's the problem. Like normally, you go through a team's like their minor system, and you'll see names that will jump off the page. And I'm going through Ottawa right now, and I don't see any names that I even really recognize that much. I mean, Morgan Klimchuk, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I think he could be a great top 9 player maybe one day, but
I remember when they drafted Logan Brown, like people were kind of excited about him.
He's going to start this year.
Yeah, he'll make the team.
I think he made the team last year. I don't know.
Yeah, take a look at that. But I remember.
Yeah, he made. He played 2 games for the Senators last season.
I mean, he's 21 years old. He had 42 points in the AHL last year.
Yeah, the AHL. That's not bad. I mean, he had 14 goals. I mean,
it's not terrible, but like for a guy that they drafted, I think 2 or 3 years ago now.
He was drafted
for a center. He was centers.
I think the thing about him though is he was drafted in 2016, 11th overall in the first round.
Yeah.
But I think that he's never really been like a point-scoring center.
Yeah, he was always a bigger, like the big presence kind of guy.
I think he's more like a Patrice Bergeron kind of player.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but I can definitely see a more defensive mindset.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly from 2016, there was a lot of question about his hockey IQ and stuff.
Yeah, he's got good size to him though. But I mean, as a center, that's not terrible. I mean, you got some things to look forward to. Brady Tkachuk, he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, Thomas Chabot will be a top defenseman in the league.
Yeah, and the Colin White contract, I mean, I like it. I mean, you got him at 4.7 for 5 years.
Yeah.
No, 6.
Yeah, but like, again, going back to the 2016 draft, they had the 11th overall pick. They take Logan Brown, look at the guys who go after him, like Charlie McAvoy, Jake Bean, Jacob Chychrun. Like, there's so many better players that could have come out of them. I mean, I did just name a bunch of defensemen, but still, like Samuel Girard, another defenseman.
Well,
DeBrincat also came out.
I mean, having a defenseman in Ottawa right now is kind of what they need, especially after the collapse with Erik Karlsson and everything else.
What a trade that was.
It was a mess.
Like, they could have gotten anything for him, and they got, like, some decent middle 6 players, but... Like, you want more from that from the best defenseman in the NHL at the time.
I mean, I just pulled up the draft board from the first round, and notable players that have gone that went after him. I mean, you have guys like I lost his name. Jacob Chychrun, McAvoy, Jake Bean.
Yeah. Even Cholowski, who's Detroit's probably best prospect right now.
Yeah, I mean. There are some
much better players.
There's some good players that were sitting on the draft board that they chose. Maybe they saw something in Logan Brown. You yet to see that.
Like I guess I think they must have just seen size and gone for it. But
I mean, but better centers. Like Alex DeBrincat went in the 2nd round of that draft. Like there were better options, and they just
Jordan Kyrou went 2nd round as well. Like,
yeah, they just
there were so many better options, and that wasn't the pick.
It wasn't the pick. I hope.
But now, you know what? It's 3 years later. They haven't. Like, they can do something else.
I hope for the Sens. I hope something turns around. I think Connor Brown pickup and the Zaitsev pickup. I think Connor Brown will work
Yeah, I think Connor Brown was a great pickup for them.
Nikita Zaitsev, I mean, I don't know. I watched him play as a Leaf for the past 3 or 4 years. He just...
Yeah, Zaitsev, I'm not
sold on him. I wasn't sold on him in Toronto, and I'm definitely not sold on him on this team. I think what's scary, though, is he's the best defenseman on that team right now. Other than maybe Shabbat.
Well, yeah, other than Shabbat, yeah, but even then, that is not something you want.
If you look at Zaitsev's turnovers to, like, his takeaways to giveaways, he gives the puck away too much. He just dumps it down the boards, and he always misses someone. I mean, he's icing all the time. I think Connor Brown probably scored 30, maybe
I'd be interested.
20, 30. I don't know. He doesn't have really a center to pass to.
Yeah, I'd be really interested if they can bring in a center Kachuk and Brown on the same line.
Yeah, it'd
go
be interesting. Unless they,
line.
I mean, they could put Colin White at center because I mean he's listed as a right-wing center.
They could, but like when he's your first line center, that's not a good thing.
Well, the other thing is Bobby Bryant. Like, I remember when that contract was signed, I was sold on him. I thought, hey, that's a good pickup for the Sens, and then they had that one good run with the Hamburger, and then he just completely fell off the boards. Like, he's 30.
Yeah.
He's 32 right now. He's 32 years old. He's on the books for like another 6 years.
Yeah, but I mean, he had some injury history, which did not help his case.
Well, I mean, he played, since he signed there, his first year he played 70 games, second year 78, 81, 62, 62, 78. He played 78 games last year, but...
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised by that.
The problem is, if you look at his points total, they're not good.
No.
He had 48 and 70, 54 and 78, 56 and 82, 25 and 62, and last year he only had 30, no, that's the year before. Last year he only had 42 points, 76 games, 15 goals.
You know
minus 29.
Yeah, you know who I forgot they brought in? They brought in Anisimov and Duclair, who I think, like, Anisimov, not the worst center in the league.
No, I think Anisimov is...
I think that would probably be the best bet for their center.
But I think the problem with Anisimov is I don't think he's ever had first line time.
He was always behind Taze and all them in Chicago, so...
I think the other thing is he's obviously a good center. I mean, you have to be good to make the NHL, but I'm not sold on him. Like,
I'm not sold on him either, but I think if you're Ottawa, he's the best of the worst.
I guess. I mean, he played 78 games last year, 37 points. He's 31, I think.
Yeah.
He's moved around a lot. He started in New York, went to Chicago. Yeah. Now he's on Ottawa.
And the worst part is they don't even have any trade value or anything to bring somebody else in.
They own pieces.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have to build a draft at this point.
They have draft picks to move, but if you're Ottawa at this point, you're better off just picking them. I'm also not really sold on Pierre Dorian. I mean,
no, I think a good management change would help. But I think the biggest problem is Eugene Melnyk.
Melnyk has been hemorrhaging this team ever since the other guy, I can't remember his name now, but ever since he stepped down, they've just had terrible luck with just everything. And I think DJ Smith, I think he's going to be a good head coach. I mean, you saw what he did in the Marlies. I think he's going to do fantastic, but
it's a rough situation.
Ottawa, you guys are in tough shape. I mean, your best player on your team is probably Brady Tkachuk, maybe?
Brady Tkachuk, or I think it's Shabbat. I think you're underrating him.
Maybe, but even if it's Shabbat and Tkachuk, who are second and third year players, I'm pretty sure. You're in rough shape. Ottawa, you guys are
they're not bad prospects, but you could be doing a lot better.
I'm projecting Ottawa comes last again. I don't see them.
Yeah, I think they.
I don't see them improving this year. I see them regressing even more, which is sad because the goaltending situation is a problem as well. Yeah, Craig Anderson's a year older.
He's not the goalie he used to be.
No, you saw what happened when Ottawa had their chance with the Handler. Craig Anderson's 38. He's still in the books for this year.
Yeah.
And they have Andres Nielsen backing him up, 28. I don't think Nielsen's ever had a starting goaltending job. He might have played. No. He might have played a starting in. Oh, never mind. Yeah, he isn't.
No, he is not the guy you want.
Played. Yikes. Yeah, he played 12 games last year in Vancouver for some reason.
Yeah.
And he had a goals against of 3.09 and a save percentage of 0.895.
That is not good.
No, that's not good at all.
But, what can you do?
It's not really somebody I put my faith in.
No.
I think that Ottawa they need to go out and draft a goalie this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw...
I think a goal in the second round or third round could do well for them. I would not use the fourth overall pick if they have it.
No, I'm not saying that because I don't think I haven't seen any of the draft projections this year, but I don't think there's a goalie.
There isn't. As far as I know, like if you're going top 4, you're taking Lafreniere, Byfield, one of those guys, one of the top prospects.
I think that one of the maybe in the 20s, maybe in the first round.
Yeah, if you get late first round and there's a goalie available,
because the Sharks pick we'll get to them, but I assume they're going to make playoffs.
Oh yeah, the Sharks will be fine.
But Ottawa.
Yeah.
Regressing. I don't see you guys improving at all this year.
Alright. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Kings, who did not have the best year, though I don't know why. I think they have a good team. I think they have a solid core around them. I think Ilya Kovalchuk was a rough pickup. He did not have the points that they wanted from him.
They're an interesting team.
Yeah.
They're a team
but they still have Jeff Carter and Anze Kopitar on their center depth.
I mean, that's on Jeff Carter's on the books for the next 3 years.
Yeah. He's not the best player, but he's a solid NHL player, I think.
He's a solid player. I just see, I see Jeff Carter regressing even more this year.
I think a lot of people sleep on Anze Kopitar, though.
I think Anze Kopitar is one of the top 10 centers in the NHL.
Yeah.
If you look at his stats, he's fantastic. But man, Jeff Carter, in 2017-2018, he played 27 games and had 22 points, 13 goals. Not bad, right?
No.
Last year, 76 games, 13 goals, 20 assists for 33 points and a -20. That's just that don't cut it. I mean, he was in the penalty box for 42 minutes. Yeah. I don't see Jeff Carter as taking a step forward again.
No. He's not going to take a step forward, but I don't think he'll take a major step back, which is... If you're LA, I think that's all you really need. Cause I think
he'll probably stay around the same points. I honestly think Ilya Kovalchuk did have a bad year last year.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to beat around the bush with that. The stats show that he did not have the year that everyone expected him to have.
I think people were expecting him to come back and be the player he was, not realizing he's like in his early 30s now.
I mean, the thing is, he did score 16 goals. That's not terrible.
I mean, if he's your first line left wing, right wing, you don't want him. You want more than that.
I see Kovalchuk coming back this year, and I see him taking a step forward. I think he'll score 25, 30 maybe on this team. Another player on this roster that's always confused me is Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah.
He had so much praise for him a few years ago, and then...
Yeah, well, he wasn't ever a terrible player, but
the projections that I remember seeing was huge. I thought he was gonna be the next big guy on the team. He's only reached 30 goals once, and that was in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he only played 63 games in 16-17. He had 16 goals.
Yeah.
2018, 2019, he played 82 games, 34 points for 13 goals, and the year before that he had 24. So it looks like he's played all his games. It looks like he's even taking a step back, which is bad because he's only 27. He's making 4.5 again this year. I mean, if he doesn't improve, I don't see him returning to LA at the end of the year.
I mean, luckily he's still only, you said 27? There's still time to come back from that, though.
He could turn it around.
He's not like some washed-up 30-year-olds.
I agree, and I think the reason the Kings didn't make the playoffs last year is Jonathan Quick obviously went down with an injury.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell did step up in a pretty big way and played games for them, and he showed flashes of greatness.
But he is not a starting goaltender yet.
No, but, I mean, if you look at Quick's stats, even the games that he did play last year, 46 games, he had a goals against of 3.38 and a save percentage of under 9, 888.
He had not a great year, but again, the injury and then the team in front of him just wasn't giving any help. Like, Drew Doughty cannot carry that team on his own.
He can't, but the sad part is about Quick is the year before that he look at his stats, and they're just so much better.
Yeah.
When they made the playoffs, he played 4 games in the playoffs in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
I think they were swept by the Knights that year, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But goals against him 1.55. You can't ask for much better than that.
No, you can't.
You can't. I mean, he went into the playoffs and he played his ass off. But I'm not sold on. I'm honestly not sold on Quick coming back this year and having an outstanding year.
No, I think he can. I mean, I'm not. Like, I'm a Montreal fan. I know goalies and their injuries the last few years, trust me. But, no, I think Quick, he's agile, he's flexible, he is an athlete. He's the kind of guy that I think if he has an injury, he can come back from it pretty easily. Like, if there's a goalie that's going to come back from injury pretty well, I think it'll be him.
Do you think Jack Campbell will start this year?
No.
He played 31 games, goals against of 2.2.
If Jonathan Quick is healthy, which I think he will be at the start of the season.
You think Quick only plays 42 games this year, or 41? They split the year?
If he is healthy, I think he plays 50 or 60 games. I don't think Jack Campbell can stand up.
Do you think the Kings... did they take a step forward this year? Do they have... I
think they take a step forward. I think...
we saw the Jake Muzzin deal. That traded away really one of their best defensive pieces.
Yeah, I still don't understand that trade. I guess...
the Leafs did fork over a pretty good defenseman who, as a Leafs fan myself, I thought, maybe. I don't know. I didn't really see a lot about him. Sean Dursey. It looks like he's probably going to be a solid top 4 defenseman one day, maybe top 2. We've yet to really see a lot about him. He was drafted in 2018, second round by Toronto. Moved in a Jake Muzzin deal last year. If you look at his stats, last year he played in Guelph again. He played... he was traded from, looks like Owen Sound in the middle year to Guelph.
Okay.
In his 18 games with Owen Sound last year, 17 points plus 8.
Solid game.
With Guelph, he had 17 games, 20 points plus 20. They went to the Memorial Cup last year.
Okay.
They played 4 games, 7 points,
That's
2 goals, 5 assists.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
that just shows you, if you're an LA Kings fan, the future's bright. They have a great prospect pool.
And I mean, I also see before that, because you know how the Memorial Cup works, you have to play the playoffs, you have to win, in this case, the OHL, and then you go there, you play 24 playoff games in the OHL playoffs, 27 points, plus 16, 3 goals, 24 assists. Yeah. I honestly think this guy is going to be he's definitely going to be a top 4. I don't know if he cracks the lineup next year. I mean,
I think another year.
He's 20, so he's not going to go back to the OHL this year.
I think you're in the NHL. I'll give him some solid playtime against men, which is that's the biggest problem with young people. With the young guys, they don't have enough challenge against solid men that have been playing for a long time or experienced. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll do him good. And then you look at the rest of their prospect pool. You got Velarde, Kapari, Turcotte they just drafted.
Yep.
Well, it's Kaliev. They got late this year. That's a great pick, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But do you think, going back to the Sean Dursey, do you think he finishes the year in the NHL, or do you think he plays the whole year in the AHL?
I think it completely comes down to how he does at the training camp and how it comes down to at the start of the year in the AHL.
Not bad.
I think if he has a good training camp, they can give him his 9 games in the AHL, see how it turns out. Maybe send him down, but we'll see.
If the Kings don't, let's say the Kings don't perform this year, they're down again.
Yeah.
They're having a losing year. It's not looking good. Does Drew Doughty get traded?
Oh.
Because if you look at his contract, he's on the books at $11 million for what looks like a long time. I mean, at least to 25, 26.
Does he have a no move clause though?
He does have a no move clause. I mean, in his case, though, if you're Drew Doughty, you've won. How many cups they win? 2?
2.
Do you want to finish your career as a King, though, or do you want to go to a team that looks like they'll have another chance? Because I don't see...
Problem is, what team has a chance and has $11 million to take that cap at?
Carolina, don't they?
Carolina would be close, I think. But also, what does Carolina need a defenseman for? They have a solid defenseman for.
I mean, you're right, but if you not think that if LA came knocking on Carolina's door and was like, hey, you guys want your Doughty, they wouldn't go and explore that?
They would explore it, but I think the price that LA would want...
I'm completely wrong. Just so everyone knows, Carolina has $2 million in cap space. They are not going to be able to make that move. I don't. Okay,
they don't have any players with big contracts that they can just trade in return either.
No, I mean
I think them buying out. Though they do have price. They do have more cap space next year because they just bought out Marlowe's contract.
Yeah, they did. They bought out the 6.
Yeah, so that's a big cap hit that
Yeah.
that they lose immediately. So I don't know. I think that could happen, but again, I don't know what use Carolina has for a defenseman at this point.
If they did trade him, do you think that they'd be willing to retain any of the salary, or?
I don't know. It's a long contract that just started, 8 years. I don't know, and also I don't know if Drew Doughty wants to leave LA.
If your daddy would leave LA, in theory, let's say, because I'm looking at Colorado right now. Colorado's a team, they still have to sign.
Colorado, they have to sign Rantanen.
I think he's waiting on Mitch Marner to sign.
Yeah, I think all the RFAs are at this point.
They're a team that has $15 million cap space. They do have pieces that they could move, in theory, for a player like Drew Doughty. They could throw in Ian White, that gives 4.5 mil, 4.2 right there for that year. I think that would probably put them close, and they throw in someone like Matt Nieto. They'd probably get that deal done. They'd probably have to give up something. But I do think that if Drew Doughty were to leave for whatever reason, he wanted out, let's say, I wouldn't be surprised to see him wearing a Colorado Avalanche jersey at some point in the future.
Though I think if you trade Drew Doughty, that initiates a rebuild and you blow up the team. Goodbye Kopitar, goodbye Quick. Everybody's going. We're starting anew.
Problem is, let's say if they start playing poorly, let's say Jonathan Quick is another bad year, I don't think he's worth much on the open market. I think you're crazy. I think teams realize that Jonathan Quick is a great player. I think he's still one of the top 5 goaltenders. I think he's 33 though. That's the thing. I mean,
if they trade him next year, that gives you. I mean, goalies they do last longer. Goalies, they start late, they end late. I think Jonathan Quick can stay longer because he's an athlete.
I just feel like the ask would be too much.
I think the ask would be too much. I think they could be negotiated down, especially if they're starting a rebuild. I mean, you can go look at teams like who needs a goaltender. Jersey. Yeah. Jersey could maybe take that deal. Columbus might, now that Bobrovsky's gone.
True.
Colorado, for God's sakes, they could also take him.
Well, speaking of New Jersey, I think they're the next team on the list, aren't they?
New Jersey is... It's either them or it is New Jersey.
Alright, well, I guess let's move on to the Devils.
Alright, speaking of the Devils...
Interesting
PK Subban.
situation.
PK Subban.
Man, that was a fleece.
What a deal that was.
That was a fleece deal. I mean, well, off topic here, did you know right now that PK Subban has given out his phone number on Instagram and is talking to people?
Yeah.
I sent him a message, didn't get back to me yet. PK, do you ever hear this?
PK Subban is PK Subban is one of the best players in the NHL off the ice. I think he should be the face of the NHL. He's got the personality to attract new fans. He's incredibly nice and generous man.
I love the guy's personality. He fit in really well with Nashville. I don't know how well he gels with this team.
It'd be tough to say this early, but I mean, he was traded from Montreal for his on ice or off the ice locker room problems. Supposedly, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but yeah, I know it's hard to say. I kind of lost my train of thought, but he's such a great defenseman, and I think that's what Jersey needs right now. I think that was the biggest hole for the most part, if I remember correctly.
If you look at New Jersey's roster right now, at the end of this year, Taylor Hall's UFA, Wayne Simmons is UFA.
I mean, Wayne Simmons I'm not too worried about.
Nico Heischer's an RFA.
Nico Heischer will resign.
Sam Vatanin's a UFA. Andy Green's UFA. I see Andy Green probably retiring at the end of this year. But I mean, do they come back? Do those players come back? Do you see Taylor Hall and Wayne Simmons at the end of this year? Say if they have like a bad year where they're below again, I don't see them coming back. I mean, I don't know. Because the biggest problem in New Jersey right now is I have no faith in this goaltending core. I have zero faith in Corey Schneider. I don't think, from what I've seen at least, Blackwood has not proven himself to me to be an NHL starting goaltender.
Not yet.
I don't think he's ready. I don't know if he'll ever be ready. To be
I
honest.
think he will be ready eventually, but not yet. Just isn't there yet.
Jeez. A little
But like the thing is, again, same with LA. The future is bright in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They have a top prospect pool. They've done some great drafting. I mean, they've been lucky with
great drafting. I think they've just been tanking.
Yeah, they've been lucky with the top number 1 picks a couple years now.
Well, I mean, if Taylor Hall was injured for some of this year, wasn't he? Didn't he break his leg, or was that last year?
He did have an injury, I believe.
So, I'm curious now to see how long he's out. Well, look at this. Fun fact: did you know that New Jersey Devils are still paying Ilya Kovalchuk $250,000 every year?
I mean, listen. You want to sign a guy for $50 million? That's your fucking punishment.
Well,
who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
Obviously, New Jersey at the time. So, New Jersey, last year, Taylor Hall played 33 games, 37 points, was a -6. Let's say if Taylor Hall doesn't go down with an injury, does New Jersey make playoffs last year? Because they made the playoffs the year before that with Taylor Hall. Playing healthy, he had 93 points. I'm pretty sure he won the Ira Ross that year.
That year, I believe that was the year he won the Hart.
Oh, yeah, it was the Hart, sorry.
I mean, I think it might have also been actually, no. I'm okay, we got the Art Ross.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. The problem is the Metro and the East is such a competitive conference, and specifically the Metro is a super difficult division to win in. Like, you have to get by, like, they came last, you have to get by the Rangers and the Flyers, not too hard. Columbus this year, not going to be, Columbus is going to
We'll get to them. That's a whole nother thing.
But then you have the Capitals, the Islanders, the Penguins, the Hurricanes all in front of you.
Now,
and then you're competing for a wild card spot with like Montreal and Florida, and even maybe Detroit, Buffalo. But we'll get to that.
I've been hearing about this guy for a few weeks now. He was traded to the Devils, signing a $4.5 million contract. Nikita Gusev.
I think it's a great pickup.
Do we know anything about him though?
I know he played in the KHL.
Yeah, I've got his KHL stats here. Last year he played 0 games for Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he played with SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL.
Solid team.
62 games, 82 points.
Yep.
65 assists, 17 goals.
Yep.
In all international Russian play last year, that would be the EHT and the World Cup. He had what looks like 22 points in 16 games, and at the EHT, they had playoffs there. He played 3 games in the playoffs, 4 points, -1. If we look at his KHL stats in the playoffs, 18 games played, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points, and -1.
Yeah. I think he might actually be one of, if not the best player outside the NHL.
The problem is, we haven't really seen a lot of we've seen KHL players come to the NHL, obviously, but we haven't seen a lot of them. They've always underperformed.
I don't know. I mean, Dadonov and Radulov are the 2 biggest ones to come to mind for me.
Yeah.
I think they both performed pretty well. But Radulov's for sure in Montreal was fantastic. I can't believe we didn't sign him.
That was a mistake by you guys. I mean, if you look at...
Yeah, I mean, what can you do, though?
If you look at their projections this year for first line, Taylor Hall, Hischier, Kyle Palmieri, not bad. We'll see them score quite a bit of goals.
Yeah,
I mean,
not bad.
Nico Hischier had 47 points last year, 30 assists without playing with Taylor Hall for most of the year.
Yeah.
He looks like he was injured as well.
Yeah.
Next year, I don't know if we're going to see this second line or not. I think it'd be fantastic to see how these guys play together.
Yeah.
We get to see Nikita Gusev, Jack Hughes, Wayne Simmons. Jack Hughes, I think he's going to be a fantastic NHL player. I don't think anyone has any doubt with that.
No, I think first year he takes the Hischier spot in the first line.
I
think he challenges it.
I think he challenges. I think he loses just because Nico Hischier has a year on him. Because I think we're going to see some growing pains with Jack Hughes. I don't think he's going to burst into the NHL like we saw Connor McDavid do.
No.
Or Crosby or someone along those lines.
I put Jack Hughes up there with Matthews and Eichel.
Right now?
I mean, at the start of their careers.
Oh, okay. I'm
I wouldn't put them on par with Matthews now. Eichel.
Eichel, we'll get to him in a while, but
I don't know.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on your guys' goaltending. I'm not really. I'm sold on your guys' top 4 defense.
Yeah.
Connor Carrick, he is an interesting player. Let me just say that he's a great guy. Great guy in Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're yet to see. This is going to be an interesting team.
My computer has froze.
I think New Jersey takes a step forward this year.
I think they take a step forward, but it won't be a big one just yet. I think they are coming up there, almost there.
So you think they miss again this year?
I think they miss. I think they might be a bubble team. I think the Metro this year will be a lot weaker than it was last year. Maybe the Atlantic will be a little stronger, so the wild card's not getting any easier, but they could sneak it into a divisional slot if they're trying.
We'll get to the Atlantic at some point, but I think that wild card's going to both Atlantic teams. You have two Atlantic teams, the wild card. I think the Metro is going to be tough, but I don't know.
Right.
So moving on from them, I think now we talk about the Edmonton Oilers.
Is it Edmonton? If not, we can just talk about Edmonton. I can't check. Computer has... Oh, almost.
Froze, are you good?
I might be good.
Alright.
It is the Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk about Detroit. Now, Detroit, good luck.
Yeah.
You guys are...
It's rough.
I haven't even looked at your guys' roster yet. I
don't think we need to. It's bad.
They have
they got Dylan Larkin.
They do have Steve Yzerman.
I think Yzerman, this is it. This is it. This is the turnaround for the Red Wings.
He just signed there, didn't he?
Yeah, he just signed there this summer. And I think that's great. Because this is the turnaround for the Red Wings.
Here's the problem with Detroit. Detroit made the playoffs how many years ago when Babcock was there? It was like 20-something?
They made 25 years in the row.
Okay. Their drafting hasn't been that strong, admittedly.
No.
I
think Ken Holland was washed up.
I agree. Here's the problem. Detroit this year, out of the entire draft, they don't have their fourth. They traded it somewhere. I don't know where. I can't remember what deal that was from. It was traded on August 14th, 2019. So it's actually quite recently.
Yeah.
But they do have a second. Oh, I see it. They traded for Tampa's fourth. They traded for Adam Ern, his signing rights.
Yeah.
Adam Ern.
It's not the worst.
He's an interesting player, but
that's not the worst trade for fourth.
no. But the second round, they have the Capitals pick, and in the third round, they have the Sharks pick. We're gonna get the Sharks, and they're gonna have 0 draft picks there.
No.
Because Ottawa has their first and second, I think. That's a mess.
But you gotta remember, Detroit, they were drafting, especially last year in 2018. Like, they grabbed Zadina, Bellino, McIsaac. Like, that was a solid draft for them.
I know, but
I think they by far won that draft.
The problem is, we see players like Anthony Mantha. He's yet to prove himself, 2013.
Yeah.
Drafted 20 overall in the first round. I mean, I thought, 6'5", he's a big guy. He's got a big frame. I honestly thought we'd see him do better. I mean, last year he played... Okay, he is getting better, admittedly. In the year before last year, he played 80 games, 24 goals, 24 assists, 48 points. This year, he played 67 games, 25 goals, 23 assists for 48 points again. It looks like we're seeing a slope of improvement from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he'll take a step forward this year. I think he'll probably get to 30 goals if he can stay healthy. It looks like he was injured part of last year. If he stays healthy, he'll score 30.
Yeah.
Dylan Larkin, very interesting player.
Dylan Larkin might be one of the most underrated players in the NHL.
I love Dylan Larkin. Honestly, I think he's great. I think that Evgeny Svechnikov, I think he plays this year.
I think they put him on that line. I think that'd go well.
You think you'll go with Larkin?
I mean, what's his competition?
Good point.
Like, Larkin, he's 22 years old. 76 games last year, 73 points at 22 with that lineup around
So,
him.
we look at Svechnikov last year. 14 games played with Detroit. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points, -2.
Yeah.
He went down, he played with the Grand Rapid Griffins.
Yeah.
57 games, 7 goals, 16 assists, 23 points, -4.
I mean, the problem is, that's not the best stats.
No.
But he's on Detroit, and that's good enough for them.
I agree. The Grand Rapids, they made the playoffs last year. So,
yeah.
I just don't... The year before that with the Griffins, he actually had a much better year. 74 games, 51 points, 20 goals, 31 assists. He was a 0, so he was even. Or his plus minus. 62 penalty minutes. He went to the playoffs, played 19 games, 12 points. Again, even. it seems like last year was just a down year for him. I don't know what was going on, but I think he pushes at training camp to play this year.
Yeah. The other guy I think Phil Martin could play with, Phil Zadina. I think this is Zadina's year to come up and actually play solidly with the NHL.
Okay, we're on the same page here, right?
Yeah.
Detroit, they don't make playoffs.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
I think they come second last.
Do we see a guy like Mike Green at the deadline moved? Does Jimmy Howard get moved?
Yes and yes. I think if Yzerman is smart, which we all know he is, he's going to move them. Mike Green, he has a little value still. Yeah. Now's the time to get rid of him.
I think the problem with this team is they have too much money has gone into their injury reserve and their buyouts. I mean, they had to buy the Stephen Weiss contract. Yeah. Xavier Ouellette's contract was bought out. Henrik Zetterberg is on the IR right now. Same with Johan Franzen. Yeah.
It's a lot of Detroit paying for their sins of cups won in the past.
I agree. I think that we all knew this was going to happen. We knew that Detroit's dynasty was going to fall at some point.
Yeah. And it fell hard.
My other problem with this team, it's the same problem I have with Ottawa. I don't see goaltending prospects.
You're right.
I mean, Caden Fulcher and Philip Larson, I mean, I'm not completely sold on these two.
No.
I don't really...
I don't think you need to be.
No, I don't think I have to be either. I don't...
And I think Detroit knows that.
No, I don't think these guys are going to... Well, okay.
Like in the 2019 draft, they took Carter Geilander at 191 in the 7th round, and that was the only goalie they took last year. I think now it's Ken Holland.
I honestly think Philip Larson, it honestly looks like he might be pretty good. He played with the University of Denver last year in the NCAA. Yeah. 22 games played, goals against him under 2, and a save percentage of .932.
That's pretty good.
The problem is it's the NCAA.
Yeah.
And we have not really seen a lot of players, the NCAA is tough to judge because its competition is not as high as I think as if you want to play it in the CHL. Or if you played out in somewhere in Europe, I think the competition's a lot worse there. I mean, you're playing in the NCAA, you're playing against guys who are your age.
Yeah.
But you're playing against a worse competition.
Not a lot. Name one good player to come out of NCAA other than Jack Eichel. There's my point.
I mean,
Jack Eichel was an anomaly, but...
No, he played for London.
And then all the U.S. guys that came out of this draft were all national development team.
The national development team has worked in the past, though.
It has, but the problem it's not NCAA.
And we watched the other goalie I was talking about. I mean, yikes. Yeah. Yikes. His stats are all over the place. Good luck. Yeah. That other goaltender, I said Philip Larson, maybe. He might be your goaltender in the future. We might see him play. I could see him being a backup someday, maybe. But other than that, no. I think Detroit finished this second last this year. Maybe even worse than Ottawa.
No, I don't think they go lower than Ottawa, but it's not going to be great.
The only reason I don't see them going lower than Ottawa is because I have more faith in Jimmy Howard, Jonathan Bernier than I do in Craig Anderson. I think Craig Anderson he's pretty washed up right now. He's rough.
I don't. I think I take him over Jimmy Howard, but it's close and it's not. That's not a good thing.
I guess we'll have to wait and see this year with them. They got some rough contracts on this team, but again, things are looking up for them. We have to wait and see on that team. Right. So I think they finished probably second to last this year.
All right, let's move on to the Buffalo Sabres.
Sabres. Where did Edmonton finish last year?
Edmonton finished in 25, and Buffalo was 27.
Who's the middle team?
New York Rangers.
Yikes. Yeah. Okay, so the Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo, I don't understand. How are you doing this bad? You have the team in front of you.
I don't know.
You have the team.
Well, look.
What's the problem? Is it coaching? Is it the GM?
I think it's goaltending.
I mean, yeah. Why? Bring back Robin Leonard. Why not? Why didn't you do that?
I don't know what's going on in Robin Leonard's life.
Though I think Robin Leonard might not want to come back to Buffalo. I think that might be the problem.
No one attack me here. I'm going to say this. I don't know what's going on in Robin Leonard's life. I really don't. I don't think he's mentally stable enough to play. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I think that the NHL is going in the right direction when it comes to mental health and helping guys out. I don't know. We saw him have terrible seasons, and last year he just broke out in New York.
Yeah.
We could see him come back this year and take the starting job in Chicago, or we could see him playing in their minor system.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He could be anywhere.
I agree. And
I mean,
Buffalo, down the pipe for Buffalo, they don't get a lot. They don't need a lot. I mean, they've got a good lineup.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
They drafted Dylan Cousins this year, and that I think is a great pick at 7. But then, like you look at their first line, Casey Middlestat coming up. He's a solid center. Marcus Johansson is a great winger. And then your top line, Jeff Skinner, Jack Eichel, and Sam Reinhart. What's the problem there? I guess Sam
There's
Reinhart.
nothing wrong with there, but I mean, if you look at their other lines, though, Kyle Oposo, I want to go on a rant about him for a second. $6 million man. I thought he was going to be great. Concussions have ruined his career.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, he was a solid player. Right now, I don't even see him on their second line.
No.
He's been riddled with injuries. Playing in New York, the Buffalo signing looked good, but he's taking step backs every year. If you look at his points, he's really regressing. We saw him that he's never reached 30. He's never broken 30. He had 27 in his second last year in New York, which was pretty damn good. It probably helped him out to get that big boy contract. But injuries have killed him. It's like a lot of guys in any sport. You know, it is what it is. I'm not sold on Jimmy Vesey, really.
No, Jimmy Vesey, he was a big name as a UFA signing a few years.
Huge name when he came out of
That was the big thing, but it's not going to happen. I mean, they got Sabatka there, and that's not great.
Don't forget about Zamis Gergensen.
I would rather forget.
Isn't he the Latvian stud?
Yep.
Love that guy.
Connor Sheary, not the worst. I think there are worse players to have in your second line.
I think Jimmy Vesey needs to use his Harvard degree. He actually went to Harvard.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
But you want to know something, though, that's beautiful in Buffalo?
What?
Their defense. You got Dahlin, Restalainen, McCabe, Montour, Miller, Scandella. Like, that is a solid defense.
Restalainen's on a fantastic contract.
Restalainen, that's a great contract.
Zach Bogosian, I mean, I thought
Forget
it'd be a lot better.
Bogosian.
Rasmus Dahlin and Rasmus Ristolainen.
Rasmus's are,
That's amazing.
Rasmus.
I think that those guys are going to play together for a long time.
Yeah.
Linus Ullmark.
Linus Ullmark is not your goalie. I don't think it's going to happen.
Is he?
I mean, he'll be the least goalie this year, and that's the problem. Next year, not this coming year, the year after, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's your starting goaltender.
I think that Linus Ullmark has the potential to be a starting goaltender.
I think he does. I don't think it's going to happen. Not in Buffalo.
I think he challenges.
I mean, I think he challenges this year, but I think if you're Buffalo, you hire a better goalie coach. You guys have had the goalie problems for years.
Well, and the other problem is they can never settle on a coach in this town, in this city. They've gone through. It feels like numerous coaches. It feels like almost every year they fire a coach, they fire management. Yeah. Something happens. Right now, their coach's name is Ralph Kuger. Kugier. Q-Gear.
Sure.
Fantastic.
And a year from now, it's going to be different.
Butchering that name.
It's hockey. It happens.
But do we... Okay. I guess that stands the question. Where do we see Buffalo at the end of this year? Do we see him in the playoffs?
Buffalo is like the biggest wild card to me. If it all clicks and it all comes together and the coach works and it all goes together, they are a divisional playoff team. If it doesn't work, they're third last.
Because didn't they went on a tangent last year? They
did.
Games.
Like December, November, they were.
Yeah, I thought they were going to make playoffs. I remember sitting and I was like, man, this is a good team.
This is it. This is the year they're going to do it. And then they just crumbled.
The problem is Buffalo. It seems like it's that every year.
Yeah, that's the
It's
big
like
problem.
Buffalo this year. Oh, they're going to do fantastic.
Yeah,
they're going to be great. And then it's
they finally have a team in front of them.
It's
What happened?
It's like, yikes.
Like, you start the year, oh man, this is the year Buffalo's going to do great. You get to the end of the year, where's Buffalo? What happened? What did you guys do? How did you
So, Buffalo, it's a question mark.
It's a huge question mark. If they could end up anywhere in the standings, I wouldn't be surprised.
I agree. I mean, I don't see them.
If they do well, I'll be like, yep, that makes sense. If they don't do well, like, yep, that's Buffalo.
I don't see them at the top. There's no way they're going to be able to beat Tampa and the Leafs.
Oh no,
but I could see them make the playoffs, while at the same time I could see them just bottom feeding again.
Yep.
And
so nothing you can do about it.
Let's move on here to the Rangers, and we'll get to the Rangers in Edmonton, and then we'll
do the Rangers real quick. We're at 45 minutes now, so.
All right, we'll do the Rangers. We'll save Edmonton for another one. We'll get into some things that I just want to.
Yeah, I think starting with Edmonton next now will be.
Yeah, because we get some good information.
We're gonna go on.
So I was actually at work today, and I was talking to a Rangers fan actually, and I asked him about the Panarin contract, and he told me he thinks it's great. He says Panarin is worth every single dollar. He says Panarin's a proven player in this league. I said, I agree with you, while at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right move.
I mean, I think he'll be their best forward.
I agree.
God damn, that's a big-ass contract thrown at someone.
Look, unless Capo Caco... Is that Capo Caco?
Capo Caco, yeah.
Unless he somehow unless he just comes out of the gate just flying, I think that Panarin's their best player.
Yeah.
They do have Mikhail Zibanejad and Chris Kreider.
Yeah, they're solid players. I mean, I got no worries with Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, fuck you, but they also named Nestikov, about $4 million. That's kind of a rough contract.
I was that same Rangers fan hates the Trouba contract, and if I'm with him.
$8 million is a lot. $8 million
is a lot. I mean, look at other notable defensemen in this league. Like Morgan Rielly's making like $6.
Yeah, Morgan Rielly. That's hard to compare to. It's a
fantastic contract. But I mean, okay, Rasmus Stralainen making $5-6.
Yeah, I mean, if you're New York, you have money to throw around.
If a guy like PK Subban's making $9, why is Trouba making $8?
Yeah, I mean, Trouba is only 25.
But
it could work. If it works, that's great.
He's a player that in Winnipeg, when it was his turn to be an RFA, he chose to sit out of training camp.
He does have a behavioral issue.
And he waited until December to sign his contract. He pulled a William Nylander. William Nylander pulled a Jacob Trouba.
Yeah.
And, we see how that works out for players, and it normally doesn't. I mean, if you look at Trouba, he's broken 30 points once. Oh, I'm wrong. He's broken it twice because he had 50 this year.
Yeah, that's a good year.
For
defenseman, that's not a bad year.
Look, it might have been a good year, but he was playing in Winnipeg. Played on one of the best teams in the West.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on this team. Henrik Lundqvist is another question mark for me. I mean, their defense is a big question mark. I don't like the Mark Stahl contract. Good luck with that.
Mark Stahl making for
5-7 for 2 years.
5-7 for 2 years. That's not too bad, especially considering guys like Kako and them they only become UFAs after that's up.
Alexander Georgiev. I hate this guy as a Leafs fan.
Why?
He shut out the Leafs on like 2 occasions last year.
Oh, I love this guy now.
He stood on his damn head. I think that Georgiev is your guys' next center, or next goaltender. I mean, I think he's your guys' next starter. I think he'll take the reins away from Henrik Lundqvist. I think he'll have a rough start for a few years, but I think he'll come into his own. Like I said, we saw flashes of him last year playing fantastic, but I think this is Henrik Lundqvist.
I think this might be his last year.
It's his last year unless they move him. I can see him being a deadline move.
He could go the extra year because his contract ends 2021.
Could, but I mean, if you look at his stats have just fallen. They've been falling for the past few years.
Yeah, that's the problem.
8-5. Who's going to take that contract?
No one will take that contract.
They'd have to retain. I mean, they have the money to retain, but the problem is they've got 4 buyouts on the books.
Yeah.
Brad Richards.
Why is Brad Richards still on that payroll?
He's
at $0.
He's $0
but he's
for
on
like
the
8
books
years.
for some reason.
I don't know. Danny Greer, he's on the books for the next 4. Kevin Shattenkirk on the books for the next 4.
Good. Danny Briere is still on someone's payroll?
Yeah, I believe he is on Philadelphia's payroll, maybe, or Colorado's. I think so.
Good God.
He was bought out. He was bought out, I think, from Philly. Went to Montreal for a little bit, and then I think he went to the Avalanche.
When did Brad Richards retire?
I don't think he retired. Didn't he go down injury, or was it retiring? Or was it direct?
I think he might have started with an injury, but then he retired. He's 100% retired. 2016. How did you play till 2016?
So, also
Jesus,
looking at New York, they have their first, which is nice.
Yeah.
The pick in the second round is conditional pick. Conditions are if Adam Fox plays 30 games in the 2019-2020 season, the 2020 third round pick will be sent to Carolina and upgraded to a 2020 second round pick.
Alright, so that's the second round pick.
Yep.
Because Adam Fox, he's got to play in your lineup. He's one of their best prospects. It's like him and Krastov, Kakao. But
what do you see? What do you see the Rangers this year? How do you see them? What do they do?
I think they tank again. I think another year tanking, but after that, if they can trade for goaltender, other than Lundqvist, Lundqvist, I think he's still solid for now.
So do we see them bottom 5 again, or do we see them maybe pushing?
It's again the problem with they're in the East and
they're in the Metro.
They're in the Metro, which is a little
easier.
So
their only chance of making the playoffs are to somehow get into the divisional. But I don't.
But who do you beat out of the divisional?
You're not beating
out Carolina. You're not beating out the Islanders. You're not beating out Washington.
No, they're not better than Pittsburgh either.
No.
So I think you see the Rangers probably in the mid-20s this year. I think they might move up a little bit. Maybe 20th worst team.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 20 and 25, maybe even 18. I don't see them being in between 32 and 25 again, or 31 and 35. We'll get to Seattle in another podcast, but that's something else I want to talk about.
Yeah, we can talk about Seattle later, but we are at 52 minutes now.
All right, well, let's
You want to quickly touch on their top prospects of the Rangers? Just to end it off.
Kakao.
Kakao, Krastov. I'm trying to load it up, but it's not agreeing with me. Who else? I know they have one of the best. They're top 3 in my book.
I agree. They do have a very deep prospect core.
Yeah,
I think it's a fantastic prospect core. It's Sean Day, a good one. Defenseman, I like him, but I think Rangers are probably
younger Miller.
The Rangers are probably a year or 2 away from it.
They're
so yeah, let's before we wrap this up, I want to touch on Evgeny Kuznetsov and a couple other players. Yikes.
That's rough. He has owned up to it, correct?
I believe he did. At least the Capitals did put a statement out on it.
Alright.
But yikes. How, as an NHL player, why are you doing cocaine? Why?
There are rumors that it's pretty widespread.
In the NHL, in this day and age, the players are doing coke, really.
Yeah. There are rumors out there that is a very common thing for NHL players. And that's part of the reason they don't do major testing for cocaine.
So, it looks like he has a meeting. 27-year-old has not been suspended by the NHL. We'll meet with Commissioner Gary Bettman to discuss the situation before the Capitals open up training camp on September 13th. Last I heard, cocaine is not on the performance-enhancing drug list in the NHL. So, in that sense of word, he will not be suspended for that. I think we see him be suspended for taking a controlled substance, because I really don't think he deserves to play. Even though, you understand.
Yeah, it's not okay if you're doing hard drugs.
Look, the Capitol statements are, we are aware of the positive test related to the international sanction that has been imposed on Evgeny Kuznetsov. We are disappointed with this development and take the occurrence seriously. We understand that Evgeny has voluntarily sought out help, the education and counseling program provided by the NHL and the NHLPA, a collective bargaining agreement, and has agreed to regular testing protocol related to this involvement with that program. But
I think him getting on some 12-step program and keep testing, make sure you're not on it, kind of thing, and then maybe a fine, and that's all the NHL will do. There'll be a slap on the wrist, and he's going to move on, and I think we just have to accept it.
But
the Olympics have always been much stricter with their restriction of drugs, but
so you think that you think that this is a widespread thing? It's not just one player doing cocaine. You think that multiple players in the NHL are doing cocaine in this day and age?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so I just looked this up. Hopefully, I don't get arrested for this. But if Evgeny Kuznetsov, I'm reading up right now on cocaine. The test up to 2 days. A urine, blood and saliva is 2 days. Urine test 3 days.
Yeah.
And heavy users can have a positive urine test for 2 weeks, and a hair test is for months to years.
Yeah.
So in the NHL, we can assume in a lot of major sports, it's probably a piss test.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's sad about this is it's not like Evgeny Kuznetsov was taking cocaine last 6 months ago. If he was tested positive now, he was taking cocaine up to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so in the summer.
He's an NHL player.
I mean, the video, I remember the video coming out where he was in the room with people doing coke.
I saw...
I think we can assume that was the incident. At least we can hope that was the only incident.
What's sad, though, is we don't know if that's the only incident. I mean, we've seen players... Cocaine ruins careers. I mean, drugs... We've seen what happens to players who take drugs. It ruins their career.
Don't do drugs, kids.
I agree. Don't stay away from it. Don't do drugs. But it's going to ruin... If Evgeny Kuznetsov can't stay off the dope, let's say Bettman says, you know what, you can come back, just stay away from it, put it out of your head, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
If he stays away from it, I think he'll come back, he'll be good. If he gets roped into this dope again, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think Bettman says, we tried it, you showed us a lot, but we can't. In the modern age, we can't let players take cocaine be in the NHL. It's ridiculous.
You're right, but the problem is, I have a report here from TSN from 2015.
Wasn't it Mike Richards kicked out for cocaine? He was on a little bit of
it might have been. But this is a quote from NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly from 2015.
Love Bill Daly.
The number of cocaine positive tests are more than they were in previous years, and they're still going up. I wouldn't say it's a crisis in any sense, but what I'd say is drugs like cocaine are cynical.
So you think that...
You've hit a cycle where it's an in-drug again.
So, do you think that the NHL is just sweeping all this under the rug? Do you think that a lot, like,
I think
NHL...
it's less than sweeping under the rug and them just not caring because, again, it's not on their list of performance enhancers.
I know, it's not a performance-enhancing drug, but it's a psychedelic drug.
You're right.
But it has a lot of bad side effects. We've seen, like, what happens the long...
I think that's why NHL is focused more on rehabilitation rather than punishment, which I think is a good thing.
But I think that if you fail rehabilitation, I think there has to be some punishment.
Yeah, I agree. If it should be like a 2-strike you're out kind of thing.
I agree. I mean, I still am surprised to see a modern-day star, Stanley Cup champion even. It was getting Kuznetsov, the Birdman.
Yeah.
You're bad. You're done, man. That's rough. I don't...
But the benefit is he's Russian. If he gets banned from the NHL, he's just going to stay KHL, and he's fine with that. I mean, he probably isn't fine with it, but...
I mean, being Russian is...
Yeah, but again, going off of... Continuing with that Bill Daly quote, he said, I'd be shocked if we're talking about a couple dozen guys. I don't want to be naive here, but if we're talking more than 20 guys, I'd be shocked. But because we don't do tests in a comprehensive way, I can't say for certain.
So, okay,
I'm paraphrasing that.
Let's move on from getting Kuznetsov just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Has Jesse Puljujarvi's career ended before it's even gotten off the ground?
I think not yet. I think he gets another shot somewhere else. I think Edmonton trades him.
But Edmonton's had the opportunity to trade him, and they haven't. Like they could have They could have added that in as a sweetener. They could have gotten something better than James Neal.
Yeah.
We'll get into what I think of James Neal in the next podcast, but I think that they could have traded. They should have traded him.
I think they could have.
But he's outright stated, I do not want to play here.
You're right.
I have not been getting the opportunities I deserve.
There is the benefit of new management. They brought in Ken Holland. Ken Holland has done well with other players in the past doing the similar things.
But he's literally threatening to be like, hey, I'm going to the KHL. If you you guys do not trade me, and at this rate, I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, it really doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, but I think he could be traded to a contender. I mean, there has to be a price where somebody's willing to pick him up. He's a good prospect.
I agree, he's a fantastic prospect, but we've yet to see anything about him.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think Edmonton can spare him because they have Yamamoto coming up.
Yeah, they got Yamamoto. Ty Ratty played pretty good last year. I mean, not really a prospect, but...
I mean, if Tobias Ryder scored 20 goals, they could leave the fucking playoffs.
Look, you could put a monkey beside Connor McDavid, they'll score 30 goals.
Yeah. That's why I won't get into this too much, but I'm excited for James Neal.
Me too.
And,
we talked about this a couple nights ago. I think it's fantastic. But Jesse Puljujarvi, this was posted by TSN August 20th, so 6-7 days ago. Jesse Puljujarvi is hoping to get a top 6 forward spot on a different NHL team. This is a quote from Puljujarvi. I want a team where I get a place in one of their first 2 lines where I get to play 15 minutes per game. Then I could show what I'm going for. That's my main goal. Puljujarvi told Finnish television station, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
No.
He wants a fresh start with another organization and is waiting to get a trade out of Edmonton. Puljujarvi's agent, Mark Leto, has made it clear that his client's top priority is to play in the NHL next season. If the Oilers don't move him, then playing in Finland could be an option.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that he is not going to play. He's not going to play. He's not going to play in Edmonton. I think he's played his last game in Edmonton. I don't think we're going to see him suit up ever
Did he play
again.
a single game in Edmonton?
He has played a total in last year of I can see his stats right now. He played 46 games.
Wow.
9 points.
And it was 2016 draft.
First rounder too. I think he's went
4th overall. He was supposed to go 3rd, and Columbus shocked the world by taking Pierre-Luc Dubois, and they were right. What a pick. That was a great pick.
We're going to get into this later, but I'm excited for that guy.
Yeah.
I love it.
I wish Montreal
love it
had
a
him.
lot.
I wish he was on Montreal.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, he's played 139 games in the NHL. My mistake. But,
points is just not, they're not
yeah,
where
37 points in those games is not enough.
37 points, 17 goals, 20 assists, and 139 games at a -10.
Yeah. But if you trade him, what's the price?
A first rounder, a late first rounder. I think that he's
I think a late first, early second, yeah.
I think he's going to get moved to a playoff team like
that
Montreal,
or a B prospect.
Arizona. I think Arizona would be a good spot for
I think
him.
Arizona would be a good spot. I think I would like to see him on Montreal for a B prospect.
Well, I mean, of course, right?
Yeah.
I
think it'd be worth a shot, but
I don't think he's going to get traded in conference. I think they're going to put him in the East so they don't have to deal with him, because even if he gets good, he's going to want his revenge. He won't get it.
Yeah.
Playing against them in the playoffs, the only way they're going to get there would be playing the Stanley Cup final. So moving on from him, why is Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, why are they not signed yet? Who?
I don't know.
Are the Sharks done with them?
No, I think
Are they going to go back to the Sharks? Because I'm pretty sure that's what the plan was when they...
the only option is go back to the Sharks or retire. Those are the 2 options for them.
Do you see Patrick Marleau coming back?
I think they want him. I think San Jose wants him back at league minimum deal. I don't think Marleau wants that.
What happens?
He wants a little more money.
What happens if Toronto comes knocking and says, "Hey, we'll give you a league minimum, and we'll get Joe Thornton too at league minimum"?
No,
and
because Joe Thornton won't go to Toronto.
I mean, we thought he would.
No, he's not.
He did.
Marleau, I don't even think was happy to go to Toronto. I think he was happy once he got there, but initially I think he was sad.
Yeah. I want to get into one last thing, and then we can wrap it up.
All right.
What the hell's with all the RFAs?
They're waiting on Marner. Sign your goddamn player, man.
But
sign your player.
Do we see this be a new trend in the NHL? Where we see these RFAs want big money on their first contract?
I mean,
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I mean, bridge deals are a thing for a reason, but I don't know. It takes. It's hard to say. I think it makes sense why RFAs want this.
I mean, I
because
understand
RFAs are getting better and better.
The RFAs are getting better and better. We see starting players better and better, but it's just ridiculous. To see guys like Laine, Kyle Connor, Mitch Marner, Brock Besser still isn't signed yet.
Yeah.
Guys like that, it's ridiculous. There's too many of them.
Yeah, I mean, Besser's close on a deal, supposedly at 28 for 4. But I think what you have to wait for, you have to get one of the bigger RFAs other than Martin, like Point or Line A. They need to sign a contract in the floodgates.
Do we see these players, like in Austin Matthews' case, the end of his 5 years? He had an interview with The Athletic the other day. I was reading up on it. It's a fantastic article. If anyone's listening to this, you should go read that article. Austin Matthews basically stated, I'm paraphrasing here, that he was probably going to go play for Arizona. He said, I'm a fan of Arizona. I cheer for them all the time. Other than when they're playing the Leafs, I love them, all this other stuff. Yeah. Is that a trend in the NHL that we're going to see, or is it a one-off, like once in a lifetime thing where we saw John Tavares come home?
No,
or are we going to see a lot more players want to go to their hometowns and their favorite teams?
No, I think it's going to start happening. I think it makes sense, and I think it's all Toronto's fault. Because John Tavares did it.
Look.
Fucking Pajama Boy came home, and I think now all the players are like, I want to do that too.
Steven Stamkos had his chance. Little boy, he liked the TSN tweet.
Yeah, but he wanted to win a cup and not be knocked out in the first round by Boston.
And what happened this year? He got swept by Columbus.
Well, did he get beaten Game 7 by Boston? No.
Is it really better, though? Like,
no, it's not better.
I'd rather play a Game 7 than get swept.
But here's the thing. I'd rather be in Tampa than Toronto right now. And that's not just me being a Habs fan.
I understand.
I want to be in Toronto. I think that's why...
I mean, we're going to get to Tampa, but I just want to say Tampa is a very good team. But I think we're going to see Tampa. I think we're going to see them crumble.
No, I don't think they can. I don't think there's any way. Like, I think it was a fluke in 4 games. Which is crazy to say over a 4-game period.
It was a fluke.
But, like, you have Vasilevsky, Hedman, Sergachev, Point, Kucherov, Stamkos. Like, you have the team there.
You have the team. But, I mean...
I think they're starting to struggle for depth.
But here's the problem.
The team's there.
They're facing a Leafs team that's a year better. And a team that has Tyson Barrie. I think the Leafs are going to push Tampa. Maybe. It's just me as a Leafs fan, but I'm just saying, I think that maybe that would happen. But, yeah, I think that wraps up the first...
one more thing I want to touch on really quick.
Go ahead.
Pat Maroon in Tampa. Why? What's the motivation?
Depth. That's it.
I get the motivation for Tampa. What's the motivation for Pat Maroon to go there?
Wants to win a Stanley Cup.
He just won the Stanley Cup.
He wants another one.
Like, that's the only thing. He's leaving his hometown team that he just won a cup in that will give him more money if he wants it.
But I think...
like, St. Louis would go and give him $1.5.
But
you take a $600,000 discount to leave your hometown? Leave the team that just won you a cup?
He's come to the realization where he's not... I think we're not going to see St. Louis Blues win another Stanley Cup.
Well, no, they're not going to win again. That was a once-in-a-lifetime amazing opportunity, but
it's a fantastic cup run. I remember watching it. I remember watching when they won. It was fantastic.
All 3 months ago, yeah.
I'm looking at Lightning right now. Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, Andre Pavlat, Yanni Gord, Tyler Johnson, Alex Kerlorn, Cedric Paquette,
yeah.
Patrick Maroon, Anthony Chiarelli, Matthew Joseph, Danik Martel, and Braden Point. They have a very good forward core on that team. I think Pat Maroon helps that a lot. I understand that it makes no sense for him to leave. We don't know what's going on in his head, but
I saw that signing. I was like,
when did you say that signing happened?
Like today.
Yeah, that's why it's not confirmed contract details. So maybe we see. I'm not gonna say we see him pull out because we haven't seen that ever, but I think Patrick Maroon wants to go and win another Stanley Cup, and I think this is how he sees his best way to do it. Because he wasn't going to win at Edmonton, he wasn't going to win in the other team he was before he went to St. Louis, because I think there was a team in the middle. But he...
Like, that's the only motivation of it. You just won a cup. How badly do you want a second time? You just won one in your hometown. Well, for your hometown. He wasn't in. They're playing away, but...
I think that
he left his hometown after scoring the biggest goal of the playoffs.
But...
Double overtime in Dallas.
Here's the thing. Why do players go to the NHL? What's your goal? It's to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
To lift that trophy over your head and then get your name engraved.
And he did it.
And then if you can do it again, that puts yourself in a very... There's a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, if you look at how many players have gone through the NHL versus how many times are 2-time Cup champions,
there's
not a lot. And I think Pat
Plus, you
Maroon...
gotta think, like, out of all those cup wins, how many teams won it, like, more than twice, too?
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean,
Montreal, hey, so.
especially if you look at not the original 6 era, because I don't really count that. There was too many cups won. There was only 6 teams. It's just ridiculous how many people won the Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
If you cut those out,
if you cut those out, Toronto's, what, 1 cup?
When did the expansion out? And the last cup?
67, so 0 cups.
Yeah, you guys have like
10, which is still the most.
Here's the thing: if you look at it, when there's 25 or more teams, you got like you won in 90. What was it? 93.
93, yeah.
Yeah, same year.
Right.
Free.
That's fine.
Fuck those.
All right, let's stop bitching about our teams and close it out. Josh, do you want to take the intro?
Well, thank you guys for listening to our first official episode of Off the Boards with me, Josh Gogan, and Ryan Ward.
Oh.
Yeah, guys, have a fantastic evening or whatever time of day it is. I hope you guys still have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you guys off the boards. I mean,
yeah, we'll see you again.